Imagine a world where faith in the future is not just a hope, but a means of creating wealth today. Sounds crazy? But that is the basis of capitalism, a system that has profoundly shaped our world. Why do we have such a strong, almost dogmatic, belief in perpetual growth? Welcome to The 70,000 Years Secret of Humankind, where we continue our journey of discovering the great stories that have shaped Homo sapiens. Together, we have witnessed the extraordinary leaps of history, from the cognitive revolution that gave us the ability to create shared stories, to the agricultural revolution with its trappings of luxury, and more recently, the scientific revolution that opened the door to limitless knowledge and power. Today, we will delve into one of the most powerful stories, a dogma that has dominated and changed our world more than any other system: the capitalist revolution. Capitalism is more than a dry economic theory. It is a story, a shared belief that billions of people believe in every day. But what makes the belief in economic growth so powerful that it has become an almost divine imperative in our modern society? Why do we believe that tomorrow will be better than today, and that tomorrow will bring more wealth and more opportunity? To understand this, we need to go back to before capitalism really took off. For much of human history, and especially in traditional agrarian societies, economics was generally viewed as a zero-sum game. Wealth was seen as finite. If I get rich, you must get poorer. If one country has a lot of gold, another must lose gold. This mindset made lending money extremely risky. Why would someone lend money today if they didn't truly believe there would be more wealth in the future to repay the debt? Even kings had trouble borrowing to finance wars or large projects because there was no widespread belief that the economy would expand to generate enough profits to repay the debts. For example, if a farmer wants to expand his farm, he will have difficulty borrowing money. The lender will think, he needs 100 coins to buy more land and seeds. If he is unlucky and the harvest fails, I will lose money. If he is successful, he may earn an extra 20 coins. But is that worth the risk? More importantly, the general belief in society is that the limits of wealth, land, and resources are fixed. So how can that extra 20 coins be obtained if everything is predetermined? It is this lack of faith in growth that has held back economic development for millennia. People can accumulate wealth, but they have no mechanism to systematically create new wealth based on trust in the future. The big break came with the scientific revolution. As humans began to believe that they could understand and control the natural world through observation, experimentation, and mathematics, a bold idea began to emerge. New knowledge could lead to new technology, and new technology could open up new resources, new ways of production, and wealth that had never existed before. The world was no longer a zero-sum game. It was a playground of infinite potential. This is the seed of the capitalist revolution. Capital, at its core, is not just money. It is money invested in production with the expectation of earning more money. And what makes this expectation rational? It is the belief in future economic growth. Credit becomes the engine, the fuel of the system. Instead of assuming that wealth is fixed, capitalism claims that wealth can and will increase. This creates a positive feedback loop. Scientists discover new things, e.g., the principles of steam. Capitalists invest in turning those discoveries into technology, e.g., steam engines, trains. Profits from that technology are reinvested in further scientific research and expanded production, creating more wealth. This feedback loop has transformed the entire human economy and society. One of the most important figures in shaping this thinking was Adam Smith, whose classic work, The Wealth of Nations, was published in 1776. Smith made a revolutionary argument about ethics and economics. He claimed that the selfish motivations of each individual, when properly guided by a free market, could lead to collective prosperity. A baker wants to make money, so he bakes delicious cakes to sell. If he makes more money than he needs for personal consumption, instead of hiding it under his pillow, he reinvests the profits to buy more ovens and hire more workers.
This not only makes him richer, but also creates more cakes for society, more jobs, and boosts the entire economy. Smith overturned the traditional view that greed is evil. In capitalism, the pursuit of profit and reinvestment becomes a moral act because it serves the common good of society. If a businessman makes a huge profit and then reinvests that money to build a bigger factory, producing better goods at a cheaper price, then they not only enrich themselves, but also contribute to the common prosperity of society. This is a profound shift in thinking, turning individual motivation into a driving force for social development, as long as it is regulated by the market. For this system to work, credit is vital. Credit is the exchange of present wealth for the promise of future wealth. A bank lends money to a business to build a factory. The business believes that the factory will produce products, sell them, and generate enough profit to pay back the principal and interest. This belief permeates the entire system, from investors to lenders to consumers to the government. Everyone must believe in a brighter future, a future with more wealth. But it wasn't just businesses and individuals. States also played a key role in the capitalist revolution. For a capitalist economy to thrive, there needed to be a stable environment where contracts were respected, property rights were protected, and the rule of law was enforced. This was the role of the state. But more than that, states also became the largest borrowers, issuing government bonds to finance large projects, from infrastructure to war. The best examples are the Netherlands and England. In the 17th and 18th centuries, these empires developed sophisticated financial systems that allowed them to borrow large amounts of money from the public. The people trusted the government to repay the debt, not only because of its military might, but also because of the potential for economic growth. This capital was used to finance expeditions, build fleets, and wars for colonies, opening up new markets and resources. These conquests created further wealth, which reinforced confidence in the government's ability to repay the debt, and thus allowed it to borrow more. This was a wheel of power and wealth between the state, science, and capital. So why is faith in growth so strong that it becomes an unquestioned imperative? Because the entire capitalist system is based on the expectation of future profits. If this expectation falters, if growth stops, the entire credit chain collapses. Loans become unserviceable, banks fail, businesses close, and millions lose their jobs. A recession is simply the result of the erosion of faith in growth. Therefore, capitalism cannot stand still. It must continually expand, continually seeking new markets, new products, new technologies, and more efficient ways of production. The belief in growth becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because we believe in it, we invest, we innovate, we work hard, and this creates growth. Although this growth may not be sustainable forever, for centuries, it has been the main engine of development. This relentless pursuit, however, has come at a cost. The capitalist revolution has fueled incredible advances in medicine, technology, and living standards for many, but it has also brought negative consequences: exploitation of labor, growing social inequality, and most notably, the depletion of natural resources and environmental pollution on a global scale. The belief that we can create unlimited wealth on a finite planet is a major challenge facing humanity in the 21st century. Capitalism, with its ethics of growth, has changed the way we see ourselves, society, and the future. It has made profit the primary measure of success, and growth the ultimate goal. Every government, every business, every individual seems to be caught in this vortex, always looking for even the smallest improvement. When we look at the world today, we still find ourselves bound by this imperative. Politicians promise growth. Businesses compete to grow. Scientists strive to create innovations that drive growth. But we are also slowly realizing that unconditional faith in growth may not be a sustainable solution to the challenges of the future. However, escaping this cycle is an extremely difficult task because it is deeply ingrained in our social structures and collective psyche. The belief in growth has created a world of immense wealth, but also of contradictions. This complex system, which translates belief into economic reality, would not exist without one essential tool: money, especially paper money, and the modern banking system. We have talked about credit, about trust, but how are these abstract concepts materialized through pieces of paper and numbers in bank accounts? How did paper money, which has no intrinsic value, become the foundation of a global economy, allowing us to make huge investments and fostering the belief in constant growth? In the next episode, Paper Money and Banking, the Foundation of the Modern Economy, we will explore how these concepts evolved and shaped the financial system we know today. See you again.